and welcome to another Website Depot podcast. As ever, I'm your host, Greg Benevent, and I'm once again very happy to be joined by Aaron himself from California Deluxe Windows. How you doing today, Aaron?
Thank you. Thank you, Greg. I'm doing great, and it's good to be with you today.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to have you back. I'm so glad that we could sit down and do this again. I really enjoyed our last conversation, and I was looking forward to building on that.
Yes,
Um,
it's really fun.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. It always takes me a second to get used to Zoom again, where it's talking, you have to give it that extra beat. I always, I just want to get in there and talk with you. Well, as I remember, the last time we spoke, it was a few months ago, and it was a different season. It was a different time. And now, as we're speaking, we're here in winter. We're here in, the kind of winter months of it. So, I wanted to talk to you, get your thoughts on, I know you do such great business with the windows there, just to talk a little bit about the windows and how they interact with winter this time of year.
Well, it's perfect day outside. Sunny.
Yes.
It's warm and hot, and I'm completely prepared to talk about window the winter. The winter. You know what's great about our windows? It's really made, and I don't know if most people know that it's good both in the winter and the summer. So why it's in the winter good to have new windows? First of all, the new windows have a modern technology, which is great glass that is designed in such a way that in the winter, when the sun is low, it shines through the glass and keeps the place warm. So actually, the sun that is outside today will help people with the heating bills, because the glass that we use, the low E366, allows the sunlight and the sun heat to go through the glass and warm up the house. In the same time, the same glass in the summer, when the sun is very high up, reflects most of the heat. So the heat doesn't go in and keeps the place cool and reduces the need for air conditioners continuously to work nonstop. So this is one of the elements that people don't realize. Good windows pay for themselves. And the thing is that, and people, I always like to do this kind of a podcast, because my goal is not only to tell why our windows are so much better than whatever is else sold there, but also to give some information, because it's a purchase. And right now, it's very important to save money, but it's even more important to spend it right and to do something really good, because economy is very unpredictable. Nobody what's going to happen tomorrow. So if you put something really good in your house or your condo or even your apartment, doesn't matter where you live, it's always will benefit you in a long term, because the thing, it pays for itself. And people who come visit you, or people who even consider selling it, it's always great additional benefits. So windows right now, this particular time, no secret that in California, most people reside in the homes and in the condos, in the townhome. And some of the windows there are still the original windows that were put 30, 40 years ago.
Yes.
A lot of original windows, single pane, which has no benefits of energy efficiency, and actually just covers the hole in the wall. That's all it does. It does not give any additional benefits that good windows give. You say, what kind of benefits? Well, basically, not only energy efficiency, but it makes your place so quiet. It's really quiet. And people think it's not important. You bet it's important, because if you want to sleep at night instead of walking around looking for more refrigerated drinks or food or something, you can actually take a deep nap. And we all know how important it is to have a good night's sleep. And this is without you taking sleeping pills, no matter how much they advertise it on television. So that's one. But I want to alert people that not all the windows the same. Really, not all the windows the same. So, and why I'm saying that, because there is some, every industry has its own trick. So
Yes.
you take actually very bad quality window and put pretty decent glass in it and tell you the rating for the glass, but it doesn't apply for the rest of the window. It can have gaps, it can have a very low class vinyl, it doesn't have too many chambers, so it's not, the frame itself is not very energy efficient. So people think that if they buy something cheap, it's good enough. But I want, how do you think it's possible to make cheap windows? You think that people in the factory don't get paid for their work? Are you forgetting we're living in California? There is minimum wage and it's pretty high. And you think managers don't get paid or the owners don't get paid? The only way to save on a window is to buy, I will use the French word, dreck materials, really low quality materials, really something that's not valuable. And you put it in, and of course the window will be cheaper. It's no secret. The less parts in it, the quicker it can make, because a lot of factories have a big slogan on the wall, quick and cheap. That's our motto. And I will tell you, with everything that God gave me, with all the power, with all the passion, I avoid quick and cheap. Whatever it takes to make something good, that's what we do.
That's great. That's a wonderful ethos in creating windows and really any endeavor that a person would embark upon. I was struck by, obviously, when at the time of this recording, for those of you listening or watching to this, it is a gorgeous day here in Southern California. It is definitely 70 or 80 or that. However, and what speaks to Aaron's point is that, as a person that gets in late at night, sometimes it's definitely been down in the 40s. It's been lower than that when you get in at night. And everything Aaron has said is so true about, to have that heat that builds up during the day inside your home from the sun that's coming in at that angle will absolutely be invaluable at night. And I was just very struck by something you said about the idea of the window. So much of what people are used to in terms of windows in California, and I imagine elsewhere, is that the window, if the window is clean and I can see through it, that's enough. As if they just don't expect enough from a window and they don't expect any kind of benefit from it other than the fact it's clear. And I really, if you wouldn't mind just kind of going into a bit of, I was just very struck by the benefits of what a window can be versus what we just usually assume a window is.
Okay, I am gladly gonna tell you one other great benefit of our California Deluxe.
Okay.
And what it is the security features. Right now, the crime in California is especially in Los Angeles area, it's on such a levels like never before. So we put in features in our windows that make them so much more secure. I asked crime prevention officers in police department here to kind of give us an idea what can be done with the windows to prevent people from easily opening them. And looked at our windows and we opened and closed, and he tried and looked and said that this is probably the strongest windows that I saw. And I will tell you why. Because we put very thick steel reinforcement in the frames. It's like it looks vinyl, but inside there is really heavy gauge steel. So it's not very easy to break or bend this thing. We have a all locking mechanism, all made from steel, all metal. Use any plastic, because a lot of companies just have a little spring activated plastic lock. We also developed, and it's our own, and nobody can copy it because it's pretty difficult to make. We have our night latches. It prevents window from opening all the way. And it from Lexan, the same as football helmets, almost unbreakable. And then we have also interlock that locks one moving part into another. So it's not nothing for nothing, but unless you put special features in a window to make it stronger, it's very easy to come in and pry the window open and slide it open. We had customers where they called us back because somebody with crowbar tried to break the window and open up, and they couldn't
geez.
get. They could, and yes, people say, "Oh, they can break the glass." You know, interesting enough, people who plan to rob your house and burglars don't like to break the glass because it's noisy and it's also little dangerous for them. They can cut and leave some DNA
Right.
on the glass if they go through broken glass. So our windows are designed in such a way that they will really make it pretty difficult to break in your home if you have our windows. Now, that's benefit that in the past nobody would even think about. Energy efficiency. Now, I told you about about the low E glass, but even low E glass comes in the different grades. And so if people tell you low E, it doesn't mean that it's the best low E available. Because to make it cheaper, they put the lowest level of low E.
Oh.
So the thing is, because it goes by numbers, low E is 170, 282, 360. So people who don't study and don't try to find out a little bit more, they can be told anything you want. Just show them the good picture and they will say, "Oh, that looks pretty." That's it. It's done from recycled toothbrushes and toilet seats. It doesn't matter because on the picture it looks good. And you know, I always tell, we don't make pictures of our windows. We give you the window to look at. We can hire a great photographer. He can take anything and make it look perfect. So that's why we actually show our product and let people touch it and play with it and open and close and see how it works. Now, the other thing that's very important that most people don't realize is the thickness of the glass. You will be surprised, but some window companies use very thin glass, very thin. And not only thin, but also single strength. And in our company, the bigger the window, the thicker the glass we put in. So if it's a small windows, it's double strength, 1/8. If it's a little bit bigger, it's 3/16, up to 1/4 thickness of glass. And don't forget, it's two of them. So it's 1/4 and 1/4. Now, it's very strong and it's very, very energy efficient. Now, what other element is there to make it even bigger improvement is the space between the two panes of glass. The more air space you have between two panes of glass inside, the more energy efficient the window is.
Whoa.
So in order to have wider glass, like 1 inch, we call it IGU. It's insulated glass unit. It's a glass that is sealed, two panes of glass sealed together with a spacer, very economic and very energy efficient spacer in between. So in order to have thick, almost 1 inch glass pack, you have to have a strong, big frame where it can be put in. You cannot take little flimsy plastic and put strong glass in it. So that's the combination. That's what I was trying to say in the very beginning, that glass alone is not the window, because the frames and the place where the glass goes in, how strong it is, how deep it is, that also affects the overall quality of the window. And another very important thing, the vinyl. I'm a believer in vinyl because vinyl originally was created in the space travel because it's very, very strong material. We use very high-end vinyl. There is vinyl like cheap plastic, recycled toothbrushes and toilets. You can make vinyl from that. But our vinyl is very high-end because it has very large percentage of titanium and other elements that make it very strong and long lasting. I have
Mm.
these windows in my home in direct sun for
Uh-huh.
24 years, and it
Oh,
looks the same as the day we installed it.
wow.
And so I know the materials that we use are very strong and very good. So why it's important to have good windows in the house? Because you can make everything nice inside. If
Mm.
the house is not protected from outside elements, all of it will deteriorate quickly.
Mm.
Yes, the roof has to be good, but
Mhm.
then the windows and doors have to be exceptional because you use that all the time.
Mm.
And you can feel it in the winter. We go to some people's home and they have to put blankets and sweaters because the wind and draft are blowing so hard. So they try to watch a movie in the evening and they like shivering because I
Like
said,
they're camping.
what happened? They said, "Oh, we have such a draft. We already put tapes. We already put pillows. We put." I say, you don't need any pillows or any blankets on the floor. Just get the new windows and doors from California Deluxe Windows, and you will sit in comfort, drink pina colada, and watch your favorite movie.
I've been, that's great. I'm so struck by what you said. As you spoke, it kind of hit me that, your windows, it's not just, it's really not just a window. It's kind of the sum of many different parts, many high quality materials working together to make this thing. It's so much more than glass in a frame. Just to hear you talk about this. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that gives you idea why it's exactly what you just said, because
Mhm.
it takes 16 people from beginning to the end to make one window.
Wow. That's got to
That's
be towards the top of
hard.
your industry. That
That's
has to be.
right. That people don't see it. They look at the window. Oh, there is nothing there, just a frame and a glass. But there is much, much more. And I'm very proud that we can make it all ourselves right
Mhm.
here in our own factory. So we control our destiny. You know,
Mm.
some of the ships were stuck in a
Mhm.
harbor.
Yes.
Some materials were there. I advise some people from other companies just to jump in the water and swim to the ship to get the material, because otherwise they will wait for months and months. It
Mhm.
was difficult past 2 years, but because
Yes.
we everything ourselves, and because I'm
Mm.
blessed enough to have all our key people working every day and coming here, and we survived the COVID, we survived the pandemic, we survived the closing, and we're doing really good because people like what we make. It's not
Mm.
something you can go and easily get anywhere. It's
Mm.
exclusively from us to you.
Mhm. No, that makes all the sense in the world. I mean, I certainly got that feeling just from having spoken to you about how much that goes into these windows, about how seriously you take all this. One recurring theme that I feel like has come up a few times in our conversation today, and you kind of touched on it earlier, was the sense of living in an unpredictable time where despite the best efforts of people planning and looking ahead, that still anything can and perhaps will occur. So I know when we last spoke, I remember you said some very wonderful things in terms of advice, whether it's in terms of business or a person's life or just kind of maintaining a positivity throughout that time. I was wondering, what, if anything, you'd like to say during this current time that we're going through right now.
Well, I will tell you, to give up on optimism is forbidden. You always,
Mm.
you always stay upbeat and you always stay optimistic. Why? Because you believe in yourself, you believe in people who work with you, and you believe in everybody who surrounds you. You know,
Mm.
people need people. We're not,
Mhm.
we need somebody. And so what happens is when you get like-minded people and we all have a mission, we believe to
Mhm.
make something really good. I
Mhm.
always tell, I don't want to take your money if we don't give you in return something really good, because I will never hide from you. And
Mm.
only 20 years later, and they remember everything we discussed, and I remember them. Because what happened in
Mhm.
business, it's
Mhm.
like in a war,
Okay.
not exaggerating. Everything
Mm.
is so much. Everything changes all the time.
Hmm.
All the time. So therefore, you have to be prepared to deal with something new and difficult every day. But the solution is always the same. Do the right thing. You know what? It doesn't matter if it's more difficult or more costly or anything. Do the right thing. And if you do that now or 20 years from now, people will be grateful and you will be known as a person who does the things right.
Mm, that's so very well said. Yeah, of course, you're 100% right. I mean, I was just thinking as you were saying that, to return to your example, your hypothetical from a moment ago about, the family that late at night the wind is whipping through their home due to substandard windows and they're bundled up and they're watching the movie that way. In a very real way, they're violating your role about staying optimistic. The person that was optimistic and positive would have done something about this versus just thinking, okay, we're going to power through tonight and wear these blankets.
Well, maybe that's true, but I will have some sympathy with them because,
Oh, I didn't mean to imply that you did.
right?
No.
No, I will tell you. The thing is, only in the one sense, it's a big decision.
Mm.
Really, there is a lot of windows in a home,
Mhm.
and usually it's a big decision. And
Mhm.
some people take a little bit longer. I have people here coming to talk to me who say, I've been thinking about changing the windows for the last 35 years.
Mm.
Can I have it done by the end of the month?
Mm.
I said, yes, all the paperwork, everything will be done. And I will put the highest priority on it. But we don't bake cakes here. We actually make something pretty sophisticated. So it will take a couple of weeks, but you will see this couple of weeks will make such a huge change in your life. They say, okay, Aaron, where do I sign? I said, just say okay, and we move forward. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not easy to decide. And
Mm.
some people think, oh, I will survive this winter and maybe next spring, next summer, to which I want to tell it never a good idea to put it off for later because everything changes. Everything changes. The cost changes. Cost goes up every month.
Mhm.
The truckers charge much more to deliver the materials. The people are now getting paid much more, and not only right now, but it will continue. So everything changes. The windows pay for themselves. So the first time you put them in, you start saving on your energy cost, and your comfort in a home will be so much better. So I will tell you that I don't advise people to put it off. I think that nothing will change for you in the next 6 months. You will be the same. Your income will be the same. So it's better to do now and benefit from it this winter and of course the next coming summer than to put it off for another year or something else. And God forbid you go to this big box store and you buy something that is already made and laying on the shelf, because then I can only wish you good luck. Because I will see you, instead of seeing you now, I will see you in 2 or 3 years, because you will come and say, I made such a terrible mistake. I bought the crap in a big box store, and now it's all rattling and it's all shaking, and nobody comes out to fix it, and they don't return my telephone calls. Our warranty is one sentence. And why I'm saying one sentence, because I looked at the warranties for other companies. They have like 11 pages.
Oh yeah, it goes on and on and on.
10 lawyers of everything that they are not covering. We have one paragraph, no small print, nothing. One paragraph written by me, not lawyers, which basically says we'll cover your backside if something happens.
Wow, that is quite a commitment. That is that. And no, but I'm just struck by, as you're saying all this, how this comes back to that idea you'd said a few moments ago about, basically when in doubt, do the right thing. I mean, it seems to all come back to that.
Sounds like cliche, but it's the only reasonable thing to do.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily cliche. I think if it's true, it's true. I mean, I think cliche is
Yeah,
a judgment
true.
after the fact.
It becomes cliche because it's
Mm.
true. That's why people keep repeating it because it's true.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. You put it that way. It started as a truism and then became a cliche. I see what you're saying. It's well that I mean, geez, you covered so much. I mean, that it started out as a conversation about Windows and what to do at night, and then very much became, how folks can prepare for, the next stage of their lives and what they can do in their day-to-day life. Is there anything that I didn't ask you or that I didn't bring up that you would like to say?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Greg, for that. I wanted to say that because we have the steel reinforcement, it protects the window even during some earthquake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we put the special steel reinforcement that holds up the header. Now, I'm not going to tell you here that the huge earthquake like now in Turkey would not destroy the windows. But if it's like here, jolts, here in California, some 3.2, 3.4 Richter scale, 2.9, whatever, it shakes. The way the windows are made, it's not damaging those windows.
Wow.
So in your house, the thing is that you should know that during shaking, your house settles. It's always settles. So you get some cracks in the wall, you have some signs of this, but our windows will still be in place and they will not break.
Wow. That is very impressive. I mean, it can help with any number of environmental concerns, from the sun to the cold to the earthquakes to just general durability. That really is something.
Right. And our windows are made to last. I got inspired when I walked in a tiny small country of Estonia. It's very close to Sweden. And then
Okay.
buildings in the city, in the old city, and then every building there is some tablet shows this building is built 1380. This building
Whoa.
is built 1267. This build, and I swear to you, and I look up and it's original windows. So why I'm saying that glass does not deteriorate from time. So if
Okay.
good material and good frame and the glass, it should last you very long time, unless you change your mind and you don't like the color and you want it from white to make it royal blue or something. If not, it will last you very, very long time. And also if if God helps you and you decide to sell the house, if you tell people that you have California Deluxe Windows, you get better offers. I
Oh,
have
wow.
here in the company many letters from realtors that they got many offers and sold it much quicker because people know that it's a very special feature to have California Deluxe Windows.
Wow. I mean, that is amazing. That it's something that doesn't just help today, tonight, it helps on into the future, and even when you move on from that home, from that property.
Absolutely. You benefit from it for many years to come, starting today. As soon as we put the windows in, you will feel the difference. People call me, say, Aaron, it feels like a new home. I look at the dog barking outside and I don't hear anything. I said, is it good or bad? No, it's great.
Well, that's tremendous. I mean, I have nothing else to ask you. My final question to everyone always is more or less the same thing, and I'll ask it to you now. I feel like I asked it to you last time, but I also think there might be a different answer each time. Something I like to do on these podcasts, because a lot of people that watch these aren't just customers. Many of them are business owners themselves, and certainly they can benefit from your windows with their business just as much as any homeowner could as well. But is there something that, say a small business owner or a medium business owner is watching or listening to this, what's something that they can do as soon as this podcast ends to help their business or to improve things as soon as they click out of this?
Well, that's a great question. And no matter how many times you will ask me, I will gladly answer this question. You know, business always represents the character of the owner.
Mm.
So whatever the
Mm.
values of the owner, those will be the values of the business.
Mm.
And I suggest if you want to be successful, that's my personal opinion.
Mhm.
Number one, remember that money cannot be in the first position. You have to produce good work, good service, and good product, and then take very good care of the customer. Because the thing is, it's not the people who sit in the office that make your business go. It's the people who come to use the services of your company that make your business go. So if you have to stop everything you're doing and come out to talk personally yourself to a customer, do this. They will remember
Mm.
it forever, and they will recommend 10 other customers, because it's very unique that you're not
Right.
afraid of customers, because you're not cheating them. You're doing something good for them. So you don't have to hide. And I thought that, you know, in the first years more, now I'm a little bit older, but if anybody wants to talk to me, I always come out and talk to them. And even
Mm.
if I talk to bankers or lawyers or material suppliers or anybody, vendors, I say, just hold a second, I will be right back. And I come and I talk to the customer. And you know what? They remember and they tell each other, and they bring their kids here and their relatives and their neighbors. And that's how we exist for 25 years, growing
Wow.
every single year through all ups and downs and difficulty, because we make something really good. We treat our customers, and I'm not going to repeat any cliche. We pay attention to them. We pay attention to them, and we want them to be happy with what they paid for. Because if they pay good money, we want to give them good service and good product. That's
That
all I
is
can say.
that's perfect. I mean, that's something that anyone can hear at any stage of business. As long as you do that, you'll be certainly pointed in the right direction. Well, this was great. I could talk to you all day. I mean, this is. I mean, I could do this literally for hours. But I mean, that's all I had on my end. Is there any final thing you'd like to tell them there?
I think that we had enough for today. It was
Mhm.
exciting. I like that we don't write scripts. We don't
Oh
read.
no.
We just talk from our heart and soul, whatever comes to us. And I think it's more genuine and more real. And we'll continue the same way. And the topics are endless. We
Oh
can
yes.
talk about anything. And you know what? I know how I can start about history of medieval times in Italy, and
Whoa.
transition to Windows. I, yeah, it doesn't matter. I can transition to anything, from anything to Windows. So let's stop today. Thank you,
Yeah,
Greg.
I'll be looking forward to that episode. Tune in next time to find out how we take medieval Italian warfare and turn that into your Windows and energy efficiency.
Yes,
That's going to be great.
that's
I'm
great.
excited already. All right, thank you so much for coming out today, Eric. I'm
Thank
so
you
glad to have
for
you.
having.
Always, always. My name is Greg Benevent on behalf of Website Depot. Take it easy. Have a good night.